So Biden is he really has become dark Brandon, and I know that it's hilarious that he was so uh incentivized or excited by the memes, the dark Brandon memes. But at the same time, if this is what gets him to act, if he thinks he's cool with the youths when he cancels their student debt, Biden, you're Fonzie, if that's the case. Or who's cool these days? You're Harry
No Fonzie.
Styles.
It's still the kids. I'll still think it's Fonzie.
Yes.
He bangs on the like soda machine. Or wait, maybe maybe it was a jukebox actually.
Yeah. Either way, it's very current. Biden, you're just like Fonzie when you cancel student debt.
I mean, if we are communicating with Joe Biden, I think that probably is the proper reference for it.
Yeah. Biden, you're just like Jerry Lee Lewis.
It's like Paul Bunyan.
Anyway, like he seems to be embracing this, and I think already we can start having a conversation about Biden doing more in his first term, even though it's only halfway through, less than Obama did. Frankly, I don't know if it's particularly close in terms of like what actually was accomplished, but these are good things. And the messaging too is becoming a bit more aggressive ahead of the midterms. The official White House Twitter account put this out.
So it's a quote tweet of ACYN saying, Greene, for our government just to say, okay, your debt is completely forgiven. It's completely unfair. And the White House says Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene had $183,504 in PPP loans forgiven.
And then they just go through this thread from the official account. Congressman Vern Buchanan had over $2.3 million.
$2.3 million.
Yes. I mean, and again, PPP loans, in the title, it's supposed to be, and there's just like a whole thread of everybody who's criticizing everybody on the Republican side who's criticizing the student debt forgiveness, how much they received in Paycheck Protection Program loans, because it's inherent in the title. It was supposed to be for people's paychecks, but an analysis done by the federal government of the PPP loans found that like only 25% of the PPP loan funds went to workers who would have lost their jobs otherwise. 75% went to business owners, to shareholders, to suppliers. It did not go to the paychecks, even though that was supposed to be the strings attached to the money.
Yeah.
But they made it was the Trump administration. They made it fairly loose so that people were able to get away with it, including members of Congress who just pocketed that money, because an overwhelming over 90% of that money is essentially going to be forgiven.
Yeah.
So people don't have to pay it back.
Here's another analysis. The PPP had a measurable impacts. It meaningfully blunted pandemic job losses, preserving somewhere between 1.98 and $3 million job years of employment during and after the pandemic. PPP also reduced the rate of temporary closures among small firms, though it is less clear whether it reduced permanent closures. The majority of PPP loan dollars issued in 2020, 66 to 77%, did not go to paychecks, however, but instead accrued to business owners and shareholders.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
just a nice free money from the government.
For them, right. And that's to the tunes of millions of dollars in these instances.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember stories of influencers getting PPP money. And
David and I talk about this all the time. We could have got it for, Sam could have got it for Majority Report.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure we could have got it for Left Reckoning. Like it, a lot of these, Crowder got it. Stephen Crowder got it for like $70,000 worth.
And I mean, I think it's important to point that out. Works well with and pairs well with what Biden said to that reporter yesterday, which is essentially like when there's questions of fairness for everybody else, as if this is a zero-sum game. No, this is completely just like a gift by the federal government. Biden can unilaterally choose to do this, and there's no offset. There's no subtraction that's happening. It's just a decision to not seek payment for $10,000 of debt for these people, and $20,000 if you received a Pell Grant for these people who are eligible. And it should be more than that.
Also, those are the same people who look at like younger generations and say, well, life's not fair. Well, guess what? Life's not fair. And actually, look, we all know tuition is a conspiracy against working people getting a college education. So I would say, like, to the trolls who say, like, well, what about the people who paid off their debt? Reparations. We should tax more Wall Street speculators and pay those people back if they have receipts for the student loan payments they made in the '90s or whenever. The government should cover those because tuition should have never been imposed on working people.
But here's Biden feeling himself, right? He was at a campaign rally in Maryland yesterday, where he's got a little bit of his confidence back now that his approval rating's at a whopping 44%. But look, keep doing more stuff like this. Again, we've said this time and time again. Wins, political wins,
Yeah.
actions is what makes you popular. Not saying, let's be bipartisanship, let's work together, not appearing like you're a unifier.
Yeah.
Actually succeeding at passing legislation and showing to the public that you are active in your leadership is what makes people enthused about your presidency.
And it seems to enthuse Joe Biden too, because this is as active as he's seemed all administration.
Right. And it's good. So here he is, just with his swagger back, I guess.
My friends, we offer a starkly different version and vision of this country, a vision of a better America that's within our reach, that's within our hands, if we just vote. If we elect 2 more senators, we keep the House and Democrats, we're going to get a lot of unfinished business we're going to get done. Folks, look, we'll codify Roe v. Wade. We'll ban assault weapons. We'll protect Social Security and Medicare. We'll pass universal pre-K. We'll restore the child care tax credit. We'll protect voting rights. We'll pass election reform and make sure no one ever has an opportunity to steal an election again.
Those are some carrots to dangle ahead of the midterms.
That's like Biden's version of the Howard Dean thing. He's like, we're going to Alabama and Virginia and North Dakota.
Pre-K, child tax credit.
That's all weapons
I
ban.
mean, pre-K is good.
We needed a screen.
Pre-K is good. What he should do before the election, though, is deschedule marijuana, and he'll get that. Yeah, he won't have to do any of these campaign events. He can just sit on his ass in
all 50 states.
in Delaware.
That would, I mean, oddly, of all of the things that we just talked about there, that might be the thing Biden's least likely to do, because he didn't run on
I
he
know.
was the one Democrat who didn't run on marijuana legalization. He is very old fashioned in that regard. But look,
Easy, it's sitting there for you, though.
protect Social Security, ban assault weapons, codifying Roe v. Wade, passing universal pre-K. Now, look, I don't know how you're going to codify Roe v. Wade without some sort of filibuster carve out or overhaul, but still, right? This is good campaign rhetoric. And if the Democrats miraculously retain the House and the Senate, oh boy, like, we're going to hold you to that.
And also, like, if Republicans have to run on, we're going to make it so a judge makes you have that $10,000 back on your student loan amount. Like, that's not exactly a winning message heading into any election.
And I wish Biden would go further and say, elect us, make sure I have the power to do what I want, and you get 10,000 extra.
Yeah, no, they're very much into this is a one-time thing. We'll never ask for it again until, I mean, maybe after the election, because it is a problem that's not going away. So, I mean, fundamentally, we are going to have to address it again. Maybe Biden will get around to it.
Well, I mean, the Debt Collective, who we're going to be speaking to Astor Taylor later, they're not going to let up. This is not where it ends for them. So, I mean, I think the work starts now in pressuring him to do more.